Unpacking is a lo-fi puzzle game, which follows the main character as she moves from home to home. As the game progresses, we see our character grow from a young girl living with her parents and sister in her childhood home, through to a grown woman just starting a family of her own. Every item that we unpack helps frame the story of who this character is and what she values. This is Unpacking, the story explained. We meet our character in 1997 when she is unpacking her childhood room. She tells us that this is the first room she has had all to herself. We later learn that our character's family had moved into a 3-bedroom house and that our character has a sister with whom she must have shared a room previously. Our character was an active child with a love of soccer, and the soccer ball and trophy are two of the first items we unpack, along with a backpack which may be a reference to Sailor Moon. We also start to see a sentimental side of our character in the diary she keeps and the picture book we signed at the start of the game that will travel with her over the years. We learn that our character's family is Jewish, as seen from the dreidel we unpack, and that our character's family had travelled to England, as seen through a souvenir London bus. The game does an excellent job of placing this room in time. The toys our character unpacks are all highly time appropriate, from the Rubik's Cube in Simon Says, through to the figurines, the Game Boy and the Tamagotchi. All these toys will feel incredibly nostalgic to any player who was a child in the 90s. The main characteristics of our character are set up here: her passion for art, her love of video games, her enjoyment of sports, at that time soccer. Our character has a variety of art supplies and proudly displays her own framed artwork on the wall. Based on the timeline established through her later moves, we also know that in 1997, she is about 10 years old. Our character's childhood room is filled with toys and books and art supplies, and we see for the first time many of the belongings that she will keep with her long into her adult life, including the beloved stuffed toy pig we recognise from the title screen. And it is interesting to see which of the items in this room our character keeps with her through the different stages of her life. In 2004, our character is moving into student accommodation, and she tells us that classes start on Monday. Our character would now be 17 or 18 years old. This is our character's first year of university. The books that we unpack tell us that she is pursuing her passion for art through a degree majoring in drawing and art design. She still keeps a diary and still has a number of her childhood toys, including her stuffed toy pig. She has a small, period-typical DVD collection with Donnie Darko, The Matrix and Ghost World clearly identifiable. At this stage in our character's life, she's a bit of a tomboy. Her clothes mostly consist of t-shirts and jeans. Our character has been on another trip since we last saw her, as shown by an Eiffel Tower souvenir. Our character has discovered Dungeons and Dragons, as seen through some of the books that she unpacks, and through later years we will see that this becomes a lifelong interest of hers. By 2007, our character has graduated from university and has moved in with roommates with whom she shares a passion for Dungeons and Dragons and video games. We learn that one of these roommates is a man and the other is a Muslim woman. We will later see photographs of our character with her roommates, who she will stay friends with for at least the rest of the game. Our character has a desk in her room for her art supplies and computer. We see that she's kept her university reference books and that she has acquired her first set of business cards. We can easily imagine that our character is at a stage where she's trying to establish herself as a freelance artist. Since the last time we saw her, our character has travelled again, this time to Italy, as seen through the photographs she pins to her corkboard, and a new souvenir, that of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. To make ends meet, our character is working in a coffee shop, as shown by her uniform, including her apron and name tag. Our character is still active, and she unpacks a set of climbing shoes as well as a bag to carry chalk for use in her climbs. She also has a yoga mat and a set of handheld weights. Our character, while still very much a tomboy, now owns a couple of skirts and has started using makeup. In September 2010, our character moves in with her boyfriend, who lives in a sleek, minimalistic, inner-city apartment. Unpacking here is the first time that it's really challenging to find a place for our character's belongings. Her things also feel a little out of place, especially her dear stuffed pig, which now sits on a grey bed in a colourless room. Our character is still working at her coffee shop job, as opposed to her partner, whose wardrobe suggests a professional job. Our character's diploma, which had been so proudly displayed on the wall of her last home, is now hidden under the bed. Our character is not even allowed to move over her partner's posters to make room for this degree she worked so hard for. Our character's sentimental nature is shown again in her mug, which is now chipped and used as a toothbrush holder instead of being thrown away. It too feels out of place. Our character has nearly no space for the art supplies or childhood toys, which she clearly loves. We do see that our character has kept a photograph of her roommates from her last home, and it seems like they remain good friends. As her character herself says, she barely managed to fit in here. By June of 2012, our character's relationship with her boyfriend has ended, and she has moved back into her childhood room. It seems that in her absence, her parents had been using the bedroom as a sewing room, but many of our character's childhood toys are still there. Our character has kept a photo of her and her now ex-boyfriend, but can't stand having it on display, instead tucking it out of sight in a cupboard. If we do try and display the photo, our character pins it to the corkboard with a tack through her ex's face. Our character's photograph of her old roommates, however, is still on display. Interestingly, while our character clearly has bad feelings towards her ex-partner, she does have a gold resin incense burner that is either the same one her boyfriend had on his bedside table or an identical one. Our character's belongings are reduced this time. The stuffed pig is still with us, but for the first time, he's looking distinctly worse for wear. He's a bit dirty, the seam on the back of his head is coming open, and he has a tear across his stomach. His injured and worn state likely reflects our character at this time in her life, but her diploma is able to be displayed once more, and she once again has a desk for her art. It is through unpacking her childhood home again that we see the first indications that our character has some long-term health issues. In her parents' bathroom, we see her unpack a box of heat pads and a jar of what looks like tiger balm, as well as something that may be pain medication. The following year, our character moves into her own apartment by herself for the first time. She has been travelling again, this time to the Netherlands. Our character now has plenty of space for her belongings. She is still into video games and Dungeons and Dragons, and by this time she has painted her character's miniature. Unfortunately, our character's health issues appear to have worsened, as she now needs to use a walking stick, At this point in her life, our character is still only about 26 years old. It now looks like her only physical activity is yoga. On a more positive note, Mr. Pig is looking much better now, nice and clean, and he has a new patch covering his tear, and he has been restitched. Our character's fashion sense has evolved and grown a bit more traditionally feminine, but she still has her trademark t-shirts, including what appears to be a Welcome to Night Vale's glow cloud. All hail the glow cloud. In the kitchen, we see what may be the influence of her old ex-boyfriend in a new coffee press. Our character also seems to have re-embraced her Jewish religion, unpacking a menorah and candles in the kitchen. For the first time, our character also has a space solely devoted to her art. She has character designs pinned to her corkboard, a whole office filled with the reference book she's had since university, her laptop and drawing pad, art supplies and easel, along with bright new business cards. In November 2015, our character's girlfriend is moving in with her. The girlfriend's belongings, like our characters, are bright and seem to blend with our character's possessions in a way that didn't happen when our character moved in with her old partner. Our character's girlfriend also has a prized stuffed toy, a tiger. Her clothing is more traditionally feminine than our character's, and it looks like our character's girlfriend may be a PA or showrunner, as seen from the radio's pen and notepad that she has. The character's girlfriend also has mementos from Anti-Hero, and it's possible that this is a show she is working on. Our character's career is also going well. When we revisit her office, we see that she's won 2 awards and has added another character to her corkboard. We leave our character in July of 2018, when she is 31 years old. She and her partner are moving into a new house. They have travelled, perhaps to India or Thailand, as shown by an elephant souvenir. Our character's partner is still connected to Anti-Hero, which is or has been in its 3rd season, and it appears that she does still work in show business. Our character again has an office and new business cards, with the pig character on them this time. Our character now uses a wrist brace, no doubt to help with the strain of long hours of drawing. She is now a published children's books author, or at least illustrator, and has numerous copies of her book. It appears she has won another award for. Our character and her partner have also had a baby, and our character has cleaned up her dear stuffed pig with a new ribbon for the baby to have. We can tell it's our character's stuffed pig, and not a new one, because it still has the patch on its stomach from when it was repaired. Our character's partner's stuffed tiger is also being given to the baby. Our character has also gotten framed prints of the characters from her book for her child's room. We see that our character still has a close relationship with her old roommates, placing a new photograph with them, her partner and child on the fridge. Our character also still has the photo of her with her parents and sister, though it is curious it is from when they were children, and she doesn't seem to have a more recent photograph of her family. Our character seems happy and content with her new home and with her young family. As this is the last house in the game, we can assume that her home is a happy one. Unpacking has done an amazing job of giving us an idea of who our character is, the good things that have happened in her life, and the bad things. And for a very simple game, it manages to convey a great deal of emotion and a great deal of information in what it chooses to present. Let me know in the comments below if there's any parts of the character story here that you missed on your own playthrough, or if there is anything that you thought is important that I haven't covered here. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this exploration of the story of Unpacking.